Welcome to Women of the Metaverse. I am Cheryl Laidlaw.
I am Angela Harkness. We have been and are still on a journey to discover the Metaverse, Web 3.0, NFTs, and anything that we are required to know to join this world.
From this podcast, we will help you to unlock how the Metaverse is going to impact your brand, your business, and even your personal life.
Join us as we take the mystery out of this new digital universe.
Welcome to Women of the Metaverse. In this episode, we are talking about ChatGPT. I am sure that you have heard of it, and even if you haven't checked it out yet, the speed at which this has launched has been incredible, reaching 1 million subscribers in the first week. We actually recorded this episode a few weeks ago, but between recording the episode and editing it, there was so much more information that came out that we decided to let things calm down for a bit before we published this episode.
Before we even get going, we are going to claim that it will be life-changing, whether you want it to be or not. Since the launch of ChatGPT, the number of AI tools that have come out or we have been made aware of is madness. They are coming at us from everywhere. Our purpose for this podcast is to make you aware of what is going on in this digital world and to guide you to get involved rather than fear it. The change to businesses using these tools is already happening. Therefore, we want you to be at the forefront or you could get left behind. If you immerse and utilize these tools, it could be life-changing in your career. It could create a new career for you. And as a business owner, depending on what your business is, it could elevate your brand by you becoming an expert in AI within what you do. It could save you a ton of time and money, which will enable you to focus on other things. And if you start now, it will make your brand stand out because trust us, Cheryl and I, from experience, know how slow people are to accept and adopt change. If you're listening to this podcast, we know you're not one of them. So how do you think it's going to change in your business? How do you think you're going to use it?
Well, I've been using ChatGPT to help me write proposals and emails. Now, there's been a lot of chat in regards to blog writing, but at this moment in time, I don't actually advise using ChatGPT to write blogs because the content that's going to come out as a result over the next good few years is going to be very similar. And again, until AI advances, it's just not going to be original content. So I'm using it predominantly to guide me and help me with my newsletter writing, a few emails and proposals.
Yeah. And it's practice, isn't it, as well?
Especially with those prompts.
Yeah. So the first thing we recommend you do, if you haven't already, obviously once you finish listening to this episode, is to go to ChatGPT, and we'll leave a link in the show notes. Create an account, which is very easy to do. It's free, and have a play.
GPT, short for Generative Pre-Training Transformer, is a type of language model developed by OpenAI. Actually, OpenAI have been around for a little while. There is an area called the playground. It allows you to do what ChatGPT does, but just a little bit more complex to use. ChatGPT actually sits over the top of OpenAI, which has created an easier way for you to get results. You can still use the playground, which is what a lot of people do when they can't get onto ChatGPT, which can be very often. I mean, I often log on and can't get access to it.
Yeah, I don't have as much problem every so often, but I don't have as much problem with it as you do.
Yeah, mine's every other day. Maybe I use it too often. A lot of experts actually say it's a better way of learning how to use AI. ChatGPT is designed to generate human-like text by predicting the next word in a sentence based on the context of the words that come before it. So, for example, if you asked ChatGPT to write you a blog post about going to the beach and swimming in the blank, it will assume correctly that the next word is going to be sea. The list of things that can be done using this is endless, but just to list a few. So we've got create chatbot responses. It can summarize large pieces of text, which we do that a lot for our podcast. Create social media captions from large pieces of text. That's an excellent hack.
Yeah.
Learn your style of writing and create content in that style. Generate business ideas. Create Facebook ads. Write business plan layouts. Create prompts for other AI software. Correct coding errors. Create brand guidelines. Write CVs. And create content calendars. And again, the list goes on. That was just really a few.
I had my nieces round a couple of weeks ago, and one of my nieces is a prison guard. So I was saying, what is it you would write? What is it you would need to do? And she said that when someone leaves prison, they would need to write a plan to help them sort of incorporate back into society and get a job. So we asked ChatGPT to do it, and it wrote out this big plan. And my niece was sat there going, "Oh yeah, that's really good. that's actually right." And then my other niece is in wedding planning, so she asked. We asked it to give us a wedding plan and an outline what needed to be considered for an Asian wedding, for a Sikh wedding, and again, it gave this big long list. And my niece was like, "Yeah, that's really good, actually." So, just some of the things that you can consider is, for your own purpose is amazing. It even made it onto, I saw a post on Mumsnet the other day where they were talking about it and all the women, what they were using ChatGPT. So it's getting more and more popular. It's not just a thing for us geeks.
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing I asked it to do was to write me a Christmas a funny out of office Christmas themed.
Yes, it was good though. It came up with some good ones.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I used it.
Where the skill lies with ChatGPT and all AI software is writing prompts, or as it's being called, prompt engineering, because that is how you are going to get really good at AI. So prompts are how you get ChatGPT to give you the responses that you want and or need. For example, one of the ways we have used it is to upload a transcript from our podcast and then ask it to create a series of tweets and other social media posts, to which we asked it to include the link to the episode and certain hashtags, which it took less than a minute to do. If you have a business as a health coach, you could ask ChatGPT to give you a list of 10 trends in the health industry, or create a list of 10 blog post ideas, or take a current piece of content, as we have done, and repurpose it for social media content pieces. If you owned a cafe and you were inventing a new latte, you could ask it to come up with 10 named ideas for the latte based on the ingredients. If you're creating a business plan, you could ask it to create an outline of an avatar based on what you plan to do in your business. If you wanted to put services into media, you could ask it to act like a PR expert and write a press release for you. The key to this is to be so proficient at prompt engineering that it becomes second nature and you have complete control over the information you want to receive. We are going to talk more in later podcasts about where you can learn this. ChatGPT does have its limits though. So Cheryl, what are they?
Okay, so it's not trained on data for anything after 2021. So it can limit what you can find out. So, for example, our first episode of this season was what we can expect from Web3 in 2023. It was able to give us information as to what may a trend this year, but was unable to give us information as to what is happening, such as events. But this is where the advancement of technology is coming at us at such a speed already. There are extensions that enable you to push the boundaries on ChatGPT. For example, Web Chat GPT, which you can get from the Google Chrome store, adds up-to-date web results to your prompt answers. Another one is Merlin, which enables you to use ChatGPT in any website. Whilst there are limitations, there are already tools that are being launched to overcome what it currently can't do. However, since it launched, there has been discussions about ChatGPT 4, which is said to be exceptionally more powerful than the current version. Also, Microsoft has opened its waitlist for a new version of its search engine, Bing, which is the second largest search engine after Google, using version 4 of ChatGPT. Some of the early signups have already got access.
Yes, I saw that on TikTok yesterday. One of the guys that had signed up to the wait list has already got access to it now and is using it and playing with it and says it's really good.
I've heard lots of rumors that it is going to be exceptional.
Yeah. Well, he said that he'd already changed his default browser to be this now.
I'm also hearing the same rumors. Is Bing gonna take over Google? That's the question.
Yeah. Because Google had a launch that rumored wasn't very good for their AI. So it just honestly, by the time you listen to this episode, there could be 50 other versions out. It's just happening so quickly.
And Google don't always get it right. There have been a number of things that Google have got incredibly wrong, including, what was it? Google. God, what was
well, like we did, like the social media platform. Remember when we used to use
what was it called?
Hangouts
Google Plus. Google
Plus.
Such an epic fail.
Yeah, but it was such a good platform, right? But sometimes you can't be late to the party with these things, can you? So
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this in 6 months' time, the whole landscape could just be completely different. It's crazy how quickly these things are coming out. There are a few things we wanted to chat about, warn you about, and discuss. Firstly, the fear factor. There is always fear when big changes come about. And this does seem to be a big change. Similar to Web 2, this feels like a step change, not just a gradual change. We have already seen and heard discussions about people being worried about their jobs, which, is understandable. It is taking over the world, and why can't things stay as they are? And I actually read that on a forum, which I was like, oh dear.
Everyone always says that. Why do they have to change things?
Yeah, it's sad that people spend time fearing that, isn't it? So, because nothing stays the same, regardless of what age you are. If you look at what you have as a child compared to what you have access to now, just nothing stays the same. Everything evolves. Jobs that exist today, including social media managers, did not exist 15 years ago. Will people lose their jobs? Sadly, yes. But new jobs will be created, and jobs we can't even fathom will emerge. But those of you who embrace this technology, learn it, and create from it will either stand out in your current job, or we create new jobs or businesses from it. Expect to see chief AI officers in corporations fairly soon. I saw one of the first job specs for a prompt engineer offering a salary of between 250,000K to 350,000K. This is a job for people who are good at asking questions. If you are a detailed person, this could be a goldmine for you. If you are not, and you are like me, a much bigger picture, you can start to think and advise on ideas as to how it can be used. It's all about the prompts.
All about the prompts. I mean, I feel the whole of season 2 will be about prompts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in the next year, you are going to say prompt more times than you have ever said in your entire life.
Agreed. Poor content. If you thought there was a lot of content out there now, we are about to be hit with an increased amount of content that we cannot even begin to imagine. But a lot of it will be very low standard because many people are using it straight from ChatGPT. But this is where standing out becomes important. The quality of what you produce and remaining authentic as yourself, but also as your brand, is critical to ensuring that your brand stands out. So this is really important as because again, I think we've just spoken about this in another episode. This isn't a quick fix. Chat GPT is not here to copy paste.
No.
Quick fix. And there'll be a lot of crap out there that's duplicated from Chat GPT.
Yes, I agree. You have to now the authenticity is going to be a word that's used a lot, and there are a lot of creators now that are just really just being themselves and not using sort of fancy hooks or following the crowd. And I think you have to make sure with Chat GPT and all the other AI that you just don't become a copy version. It would be very easy. I see it all the time on TikTok with people saying, I've just created a clothing brand using Chat GPT and Midjourney. And okay, but probably somebody else can go in and do the same thing. So what becomes really important is standing out and knowing what your brand is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be complex. Your brand doesn't have to be complex. If you think of people like Mrs. Hinch on Instagram, she became popular because she genuinely just loves cleaning. And she has a very specific way of doing it and a very specific look. And that's how she grew. And then there's people like Keith Lee, who is the food reviewer on TikTok, has very strong values about who he's helping and what he's trying to do. But it's not complex. There's nothing major. There's nothing fancy pants about it. It's just he's being himself and he knows what he wants to achieve. So that's what's going to become important over all of this AI, I think.
I agree.
Okay. This third one, I've been ranting to Cheryl about this a little bit because it is starting to bump me a bit. And that is jumping on the bandwagon. This is one thing that I think is important at the recording of this episode. Chat GPT has only been out for a couple of months. So if you have not used it yet, which is 99% of people, you are only a couple of months behind other people. But already we have seen the usual jump on the bandwagon merchants. It is amazing that more people are getting involved and a lot more discussions are taking place. But there is an area in the coaching industry that I don't like. And these principles go against the principles for Web3 and all that surrounds it, which is more aligned with building a community and sharing. So we have seen a number of people put out Zoom calls and free downloads and courses that you sign up to, which is encouraging you to enter their funnel. But most of these people I know have never spoken about being involved in anything to do with the metaverse, Web3, tokens, and AI, which means they are coming to you with very little knowledge. So do your research and look to people you trust, but also know that there is so much free information. I don't know the count, but on TikTok alone, my FYP is full of people giving away free information about how you can change your business, how you can create a business, ideas about prompts, how you can train ChatGPT to work, how you want it to. The content you need to learn is there and it's free. You do not need to be signing up to any list to understand how this works. And people pushing out free content are people who have been looking at it and researching it for years. And they know how to use OpenAI Playground. Here's just a few content creators that we respect, and we will leave the link in the show notes. So Justin Startups and AI is constantly giving out business ideas that can be created using ChatGPT. how to write good prompts, new developments, and what he's learning. And he puts out incredibly detailed content. He's really good. And then there's Rachel, who's an AI startup and founder. Same as Justin, puts out incredible content and has been in the AI industry for way longer than 2 months. In fact, her name is known in the industry and she was recently at the launch for the new Google version of ChatGPT. So she knows what she's talking about. And then there's a guy that has an account called the AI Learning Lab, who again puts out content on all things AI and what is going on. These are just 3 where you can learn way more than many of the sign up to my whatever you have only been interested in since ChatGPT came out. So that's just a warning, because I see it a lot and it's starting to really frustrate me a little.
I'm going to dob Angela in. She texts me and said, "Now guess who else has been jumping on the GPT?"
Yeah. But if you think like how long we have been looking at it before we even started talking about the podcast, it was about a year back and forwards. And there's a lot of people who have been talking about it for so long. And it's fantastic that more people are into it and talking about it. But when they're trying to sell you something or get you into a funnel to sign up to where you're going to get constant emails for all the other things that they do, you don't need to, because YouTube and TikTok are your friends here. Just go and look to them for the information you need, because it's way better content.
Angela.
And our podcast, yeah. Our podcast as well. But just, if somebody that you are seeing these, like, sign up to my Zoom call, if they've never spoken about any of this before November, then they don't know much more than you. So just pick who you get your information from. That's all we're saying.
Okay. ChatGPT is just the start. They have recently put out a notification to sign up for a paid version, which will be coming out at around $20 per month, which will give you more powerful access. But the free version will still be available. Not only that, but other big players will, I'm sure, fairly soon be bringing out their own versions. Google, Apple, and Microsoft, which have just talked about, are all slated for releases in the near future.
So we've already talked about Microsoft. Anyway, this is how quickly it moves between us writing it and recording it. So Microsoft have already got their Bing version coming out. But
literally, we wrote this last week. So
yeah, we wrote this.
How quick it is.
That's how quick it is.
And we've got a few weeks until this comes out as well.
Yeah. So
all of the subjects we've talked about, we cannot urge you enough to start your AI journey. The speed at which this has hit is incredible. And if you don't start, it will be very easily left behind, scrambling to catch up to people who have thrown themselves into it. You don't need much to start. It's not like the Metaverse where you need to fork out for a VR headset. You just have it at your fingertips already. It is also not complex to use. You don't need to be technical, but the skill, as we've said, is learning how to prompt. Don't simply add this to your to-do list. Start today. Keep up. The link is in our show notes. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Join us next week as we continue our journey into the Metaverse. See you then.
Bye for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Women of the Metaverse.
You can find all information, links, and people we talked about in the show notes on our website.
If you have enjoyed this podcast, please comment and subscribe.
Join us again in the next episode as we continue this exciting Metaverse journey.